Okay. Hey, Sherry, I'm looking at all the little buttons on my screen, and it looks like we are live. We are live for episode 43
Are you
of
kidding?
Conversations with Sherry and
43?
Terry Ann. Yes, episode 43. And do you know what we're talking about today?
Joy. Aren't we talking about joy?
We are talking about joy. We're going to talk about joy all month.
Joy
Joy in your life.
joy down
in my heart. That's a fun song that we do when we learn when we're younger. But boy, I tell you what, I think we need to remember that. Oh,
I think before we get into the topic, we might want to introduce ourselves.
Oh, no. You mean people don't know who we are at this point? Well, okay. If people want to know who we are, welcome to Conversations with Sherry and Terry Ann. I am Terry Ann Porter, life coach, TA. It is time to start defeating those lies of negative self-talk by first changing your perspective, which will then reveal to you possibilities, opening up new pathways onto which you can choose to proceed in truth. My co-host is...
Good morning. I'm glad to see you here. I am Sherry Berger. I'm the owner of Here to There Consulting, and we educate business owners to balance those tools of life, business, and finances so that you can be successful and have growth and leadership. So it's really important, and we help you create roadmaps to move you from here to there. Again, I'm Sherry Berger. I am so happy to be here this morning.
Sherry, do you have your coffee or tea this morning so we can just really get rolling with this topic?
I have my coffee, and I have the best coffee. Look at it.
I've got one of those too.
It's called Conversations with Sherry and Terry. They match. We should put pictures with these. Oh, wait, we did. And we posted them on the... And Carla Harold made these for us.
Thank you, Carla. These are so awesome. Thank you so much. I love this.
And don't worry, I gave her big coffee cups to make them. I know you're shocked that I would want a big.
Well, I had to really fill it this time, but that's okay.
Big coffee. And so she does. She actually does Mary Kay, but she loves to also do her craft. So she made us a cool cups with Conversations with Sherry and Terry Ann. Yeah, let's get this rolling. Find your joy down in your heart. Where? No.
Down in your heart. Hey, listen. Okay, so we have joy. I've heard, we have a friend who always uses the term on Tuesday. She calls it Tuesday. I think Tuesday is every day because you have to choose joy. It doesn't just happen.
That's true. So my friend Gerald Harris used to always say, make it a great day, not have a great day, because everything that happens around you, it's about your attitude and what you choose to do with it. So yes, you can find joy. So this morning, I wasn't feeling very joyful.
You weren't?
No, I'm coming down with this bad congested head. I don't feel good. I was even bad, and I will admit on Zoom, or I guess we're on StreamYard, I was drinking tea. I don't even know. I know.
God. Oh,
and now I have coffee, literally. But anyway, so I didn't feel very much joy. So I woke up and we talked about choice, right? Mm-hmm. And I started watching YouTube. But I wasn't just watching YouTube. I was getting my worship praise on. If you put your worship praise on, you can change your attitude, and you definitely can find joy. At least that's one of the ways I can find joy. So I go, oh, don't feel good, but if I get my worship jam on. So I have my worship jam gone. I had tea because that helps you feel better when you're congested. And of course, I got my essential oils running, but those are health things. The joy part is jamming. So my daughter came to tell me bye because she's living with us right now before she left to work. And I was jamming, just give me Jesus, just give me. And I know she thinks I'm crazy sometimes, but if that's what you got to do to get your joy on for the day, I mean, every morning I do listen to my Christian radio and do my meditation and my Bible study. But sometimes we might need to take it up a notch to remember, you know what I mean? To remember how to have your, not remember how to have your joy. What am I trying to say, Terry Ann? Help me out. I don't feel good.
Joy triggers. How about joy
so
triggers?
that you know that you are blessed and you are, even if it means that you're going to sit down and start putting your blessings, because there's times that we don't feel good. And there's times that we're really, really sad because something bad happened. But we always, what'd you call it? We always have a choice.
So what are some things? Okay, so those are some things that you do to choose joy. In the comments, anybody who's joining us, and if you're in the replay, just type the word replay and then give us your answer. What are some things that you do to trigger the joy in your life? I don't know about you. It does not come natural. I have to remind myself to be joyful.
Oh, Pam says she spins. And literally when she means spin, she spins with fire. Oh my God.
I'm assuming we're talking about bike ride?
No.
Or are we talking about...
Explain your spin, Pam.
Now, when I hear the word
I spin fire. No, she lives near the beach and she spins fire.
She spins fire? Oh my gosh, Pam, I want to see an image of this at some point. That sounds interesting.
Oh, she can show you. She'll have to send it to you.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Read my I am wall. Okay, I will do that. Wow. So that's what she does that. I need some joy in my life. I'm going to go.
Pam is very creative. I know us logical, more people like you and I don't quite get the real creative. You're somewhat creative.
I'm yes. Now for me,
I'm shocked because you're so logical and you're creative. I always feel like I'm stuck sometimes over in my logical brain. But then if you say that this is also somewhat finding joy. If you say that you're only logical, my husband will call me very witty. So I'm very creative at times with my words or what I write, what my comeback might be, or when I write a speech, or I can be creative. But I just find people like Pam very interesting the way they will do their joy because they're just very creative. And you wrote a whole book on knitting.
I do. Yes. To me, knitting and crochet is very relaxing. It helps to clear my mind and remind myself to find that joy, because now as I'm doing that, my mind clears. Then, so what I did with the books, I just made them into journals. I took my journals and made them into short devotions and put them in a book.
Yeah, because she has a crochet book. Good morning, Grace. We are talking about how you find your joy. And Sherry was being very transparent this morning. I woke up with a really bad cold and didn't feel very joyful. So don't worry, I got my Jesus jam on this morning. And what do you got to do sometimes, right, to feel a little bit more joyful? I drank my tea and
I find that interesting. You mentioned music. I find that different kinds of music projects different images in me. There are days where I can put on the classic country and where I can really get into it. But there's days too where that classic country will grab onto my negative emotions.
Oh, that's funny.
A lot of times, smooth jazz in the background is another music. But then there's other times, I need something more upbeat even than just simple smooth jazz. So really, I find I do different kinds of musics because different musics will react to different emotions that I'm feeling.
Well, and it's great, depending on your mood. Of course, you want to listen to the right music. I usually listen to K-Love all day long, and people have actually caught me at the stoplight jamming. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm jamming to my Christian music.
As long as I'm jamming here in your car, don't worry about it.
So you can find me jamming in the car. I will be singing and dancing. Not sure if I'm good at either one, but I got it. See?
Oh, wow. Okay. Pam does spinning at the beach. Her feet are rooted in the sand. Her face embraces the breeze, the water, the waves, and I can feel the fire within extend to the space around me. I love that. You know, talking about the beach, my husband loves to get on the water. Well, we're right in the middle of the country. I tell you what, get me to a beach. We as often as we can, we try to head to the East Coast.
Oh yeah, my husband, I grew up in Alaska. I don't know how to swim. Well, that's sort of a lie. I can swim, not very well. We didn't swim a lot in Alaska. I know you're shocked.
I can't imagine swimming in
Alaska.
We
didn't have a pool at our high school until just before I left. And we had to drive 45 minutes to go to, what is it called? My dad worked for Teamster. And so we had a fitness center, but it was in Anchorage. And we had to drive 45 minutes from Wasilla to Anchorage. And we never went. I mean, when we went to Anchorage, it was like almost a Little House on the Prairie. It was a big deal. Oh, we're going to Anchorage, and we'd make a whole almost day of it. So anyway, but my mom and dad worked in Anchorage, so they drove back and forth all the time. But anyway, I love water. Give me the lake. I mean, over for 4th of July, I was at a pool party on Saturday. I was at the lake on Sunday. We are very blessed that friends of ours have pontoon boats, so sometimes we get to go out there, and I'd love to be at the beach. And I grew up in Alaska. Yeah, and you didn't get in the water in Alaska. Ha. We did, though. We used to at Hope Bible Camp, but we were young, silly kids. So, yeah, water can be very relaxing.
So, is it possible, as I never understood this as I would watch people, and now that I'm older, I'm starting to think I want what they have. It's a difficult time in your life. You're going through a difficult season. Perhaps several things are going wrong. It could be a health diagnosis. It could be family issues, just whatever's going on in your life that could be very discouraging. Can you still have joy in your life? And how can you be joyful and sad at the same time?
Well, like I lost my brother, right, in the Pentagon 9/11. And people were like, oh my, now, of course I cried. It was hard, had to get through it. But I'm so joyful that he was my brother for 37 years, and he could have been your brother, but he was my brother in what impact he made in my life. So sometimes I think it's taking the perspective out of that, right? But I mean, it's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad, but to find the joy in it, or find the silver lining. So one of my dear friends, well, my dad and mom's best friend, just got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And he just got told with chemo, he might live 18 months to 5 years. He said, praise God, I get to live 18 months to 5 years. He says, that's the good news. I got good news from the doctor. So it's about your perspective in that. And I'm sure he's having his ups and downs. I'm going to go see him, but I'm sure he's having his ups and downs. But that's what he texted me. And I thought, what a great perspective, right? That, yes, praise God, I got 18 months to 5 years. Because to be honest, do you even know how long you have?
No telling.
I love that song, If We Would Live Life Like We're Dying, right? So finding the joy in your sorrows, right? And finding joy in your everyday life. Sometimes it's about the perspective of how you look at it. So
Pam also finds joy in meeting new people and making them smile. I like that, making them smile. So a lot of times I think that our joy comes from within, but not just an inside thing. It's something that we share with others.
But see, Pam just said, like, what is your legacy? What do you want to, like, mine is to make a difference in other people's life. So I find a lot of joy when other people, that's why I love what I do, right? So when other businesses and other people are successful, I get a high off that. So I find a lot of joy in that. So I have someone give me her definition of joy.
Mindset and priorities. And
it's Jesus over you. It's mindset and priorities. Yeah.
Yes. And it's mindset and priorities. And so you can choose. Am I going to just dwell only on this one part of my life that it's tragic, which we have to focus on when we're in those things. But how can we do that and still have that little spark of joy? And remember, that little spark of joy is still there. So don't let it overshadow the joy. Somehow the two, and I can't think of the right words to explain it, but the two do go together. And you can have joy, and it's okay to know that you have joy, even in a difficult time.
Well, and I like another perspective is sometimes we'll be like, why me? But if you asked why not me, if we really got what we deserved, you don't want what you deserve. So if you realize what blessings you have, you know what I mean? It's about that perspective.
Sure.
Changing that perspective.
I had a friend who had cancer. And I remember it would, by the time towards the end, at one point we were talking and she never did say, why me? Her response was always, why not me? I'm in this. I can, and she is where I learned that you can still have joy and peace in a difficult situation. We never, in our conversations, it wasn't focused on her and her cancer. And it was always focused on, hey, Terry Ann, what are you doing? What's exciting in your life right now? I think that is so awesome. And to hear her talk, I'm thinking, we know that you're in your last days and you're asking about me. That's where I really learned the peace and the joy, even in difficult situations.
But that probably did bring her some peace and joy to know that other people that she wanted to were having good things happen in their life. Sometimes it is look at other people's, right? Joy in the perspective. So
changes the perspective.
And my friend Norma Hill was always like that. Norma Hill had lots and lots of health problems, and you would never know. And she had lots of trials and tribulations in her life. But you know what brought her a lot of joy was to motivate other people, help other people, go to Bible class, all the.
Sure.
And Pam said legacy, leaving a lasting impression that makes people feel good about who they are. And I think that's really important too, to make others feel like they can be the best version of themselves, not you. So
sometimes internal joy and creating that joy then, from what I'm hearing in these different responses, is to have that internal joy, you have to look outward at others.
And Pam put another good one. It's a difficult situation. I thank God for choosing me to be the warrior in this battle, as we know my determination to bring joy to others. It's always, remember that even if, you want to go back to scripture, you can handle all things through Christ who strengthens you. But you have to always realize that, right? And sometimes it's like, oh, he's not giving me more than I can handle. Are you kidding me? I don't think I can handle much more. But a lot of times that will build your character, your integrity. What did she say? Determination.
And
in the end, you can be a stronger person.
So in all that, it's a choice that we make. And I think a lot of times, especially when things are difficult, we forget we do have choices. That I think is often hard to remember. Hey, Sherry, this topic of joy reminds me of something else. Any idea what it reminds me of?
Oh, we have a joyful, what is it called? Oh my gosh, I even named the Esummit. I can't remember what it is. Yeah, so we have our Esummit coming up. You know what, though? I have one more quick thing to let you guys know. My cat's name's Joy, in case you want to know. I have a cat. Her name's actually Minnie Joy. And
Minnie Joy? Oh, I like that.
We thought she was so sweet, and she was tiny when we rescued her off the street. Oh, no, she has attitude, but her name's Joy. So you can find joy in joy. Ha, ha, ha. But no, we have Purposefully Joy coming up, our Esummit. And it will be coming up. It's actually this Friday.
It's Friday.
I know. It's this Friday. And it's going to be 5 to 8. And then it's this Saturday. Isn't that 9 to 1? Oh, my gosh. And we have awesome speakers. We have some great speakers on that Esummit.
And I love the topic. I love the topic that you made, because it goes right along with today. Talk today about choosing joy. The topic of the summit being purposeful joy. We have to make it purposeful. We have to intentionally seek out joy. And that's why I love the topic, the title that you gave this summit. It's a reminder. We can choose joy. We have to purpose.
We both gave it. We played with a bunch of word choices and we came up with purposeful joy. Be right. And you know how we're doing the purposeful joy? And why Terry Ann and I played with words. I was like, how about this? How about that? And we came up with the words. Terry Ann's co-hosting. Don't even. She's doing a bunch of this. Purposeful joy was what we came up with because we're moving it from mindset, because everything begins with mindset. Well, no, we're going to start out with our keynote, which will be leadership. But to get leadership, we're going to go to mindset, goal setting. We're going to talk about networking. We're going to talk about selling without selling. We're going to talk about, oh my gosh, did you know that even superheroes need self-care? We're going to talk about that.
I'm a superhero. I know this.
And we're going to talk about having confidence, because if you have confidence, you can find more joy, right? Because you need to be more confident. Even Pam brought that up. Be the best version of yourself, or help other people be. Because you know who I can only be? I love Terry Ann. I wish I could be Terry Ann, but I can't. The only person I know to be is Sherry Berger. So if you just are trying to be the best version of yourself. Did I get everybody, Terry Ann, or who did I forget?
Well, we have you doing goal setting. We have mindset.
Oh, yeah, goal setting. I didn't talk about that.
Self-selling network. We have a leadership. And and the self-care. I think we've hit it all. All the different areas that we as women struggle. I think, okay, let's put it this way. As a woman, I struggle with all of these areas.
Well, we can find purposeful joy, right? And part of what I'm going to talk about when my goal setting, I'll give you just a little sneak peek. What are your non-negotiables?
Ooh, non-negotiables.
My non-negotiable, I'm just going to let you know, I was doing it this morning. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to have time for my devotion. I'm going to make sure I listen to my praise music. And so I always have to get up earlier to do that. Well, I'm lying, because on Thursdays and Fridays, I'd be at a 7 a.m. meeting and I'm not willing to get up even earlier, but I have to figure out where in the day I'm going to do that. Right. So you have to read with your time blocking and goal setting. So anyway, yeah. So think about those. What are those non-negotiables? Because I think sometimes, you know how we lose our joy? Saying yes to things that we shouldn't be saying yes, and saying no to the things that are important that give us joy. You and I were even talking about walking, right? And I've sort of gotten grounded from that. And I have anxiety and I have depression. If I don't walk, I don't write. Where do you get your outlet? And anybody needs to do that, some form of exercise, no matter who you are, no matter what your triggers are or whatever they are. But mine just happen to be those, right? So either swimming or walking is what I prefer to do. I will go to the gym too, because just having some form of exercise, what is it? Is it your endorphins? And it's important. But brushing your teeth, is that a non-negotiable? Okay, so why aren't some of these other things that are going to add to your joy?
And I think sometimes that reminds me of part of choosing joy. If I'm saying yes to joy, there are other things that I have to say no to. So every time I say yes to one thing, I'm saying no to something else, and vice versa. And I like that idea.
Well, I had 3 teenagers in the house at the same time, and I found ways to find joy on some days. They might not be so joyful, and they might be moody, but you can't let other people either, right? Around you steal your joy. Okay, there's a Christian song that goes, I'm not going to let no one steal my joy. How's that go? Do you know what I'm talking about, Terry Ann? Yeah. And you can't let others steal your joy. Yeah, well, I would be joyful, but this person's doing, no. Now I learned going to the gym and going for a walk to go find my joy with some moody teenagers was helpful, but.
Yes. And what I like there is, you can come into my house and you can steal several objects from me. But the one thing you cannot steal from me is my joy. I have control over that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to let anybody steal my joy. It's actually
nobody's stealing that.
I'll have to post it down here. But yeah, it's a Christian song. And I like it because sometimes that you need to listen to that and get it in perspective. So Terry Ann, we have another important thing to talk about.
And
What are we discussing next week?
Next week, well, we are going to stick with the topic of finding joy in your life. But next week, it's going to be life. Is it chance or is it choice?
That makes sense.
So we're going to be talking this month about different things in our life. And just like we talked about, joy is a choice. How about the things in your life? Is your life a chance or do you live life by choice? Interesting topic. I can't wait to hear what our audience has to say about that one.
That is a very interesting one. That'll be great to talk about next week. So,
in the meantime,
have a joyful day and sign up if you have not signed up for Purposeful Joy so we can help you find more joy.
And through the rest of the day, make it a choose day and choose joy in your life.
Bye, guys. Have a good day.
Bye.